1.3 million online businesses launch every single day. And here's exactly how you are gonna stand out amongst the crowd. And I'm not holding back in this video. I'm gonna be putting everything on the table over the past 6 years, all of the hard work, the wisdom, and the knowledge, all condensed within a 10-minute video. I've helped over 1,000 people escape the rat race, change their lives in some capacity. The crazy part, I also have included my family in on this, doing the exact same things that I'm gonna teach you today. So number one, the first thing that you need to consider is to ensure that you understand the main principles and fundamentals first. Now, e-commerce is like playing an instrument. You can't just pick up a guitar and expect to headline Coachella. Well, the same goes for an Amazon seller, an e-commerce seller, or anything online for that matter. Which means you need to, number one, understand your market. Number two, know your customer inside and out. And number three, you need to get your product right. Because at the end of the day, we're selling products online. Your product is quite literally gonna make or break your business. And what I've seen time and time again, and transparently, what I have also done myself in some scenarios is start scaling before I've built a solid foundation and my businesses have crumbled, and I've seen many businesses for that matter crumble in the same scenario. So if you wanna set yourself up for long-term success, take this portion of your business and understanding the fundamentals, building your foundation, take this slow, be patient. Now, number two, I did just say products are going to make or break your business because at the end of the day, we are selling products to an end user, your customer. A good product is critical. I'd say it's about 75 to 80% of the game. But what it really comes down to is the strategy that you have in place for that product. And what turned my product-based business into an actual 7-figure brand was a couple different things. Number one, it was quality and making sure that I have the best product to market from a quality standpoint, but also from a unique standpoint. When you're selling on Amazon, there is a sea of competitors. So you need to stand out amongst those fish. Having that unique product will allow you to steal traffic, but more importantly, it will allow you to not be in a pricing war. Now, when you figure this portion out, it's all about how you can actually market that product to your end customer. How can you retain them to purchase more of them or be aligned with wanting to purchase upcoming products as well? What you want to do is build a brand that associates to your ideal customer persona and have it hopefully get to a point where it's part of their lifestyle. And the biggest thing that I think you need to understand is the fact that you need to create problems that actually solve real world problems. Now, on top of that, there are going to be sub problems that are within products. So your product is going to be a solution to a problem, but there are going to be people complaining about specific things of what they're seeing in the market current state. When you can solve those sub problems as well, those are the problems that are going to allow you to really stand out amongst your competition. Number three, emotion and storytelling will win every single time, you can mark my words. Now, you probably heard this before, but most people have the attention span of as little as 5 seconds. And what it really comes down to is tapping in to people's emotions. Focus on telling a story and how that person can resonate to that story. If you can get your customer to actually feel something when reading your listing or marketing directly to them before they purchase, that is where you'll have people not just buy into the product, but to buy into the brand. Now, the reason that I know this works is because I have seen mediocre products that will simply outsell some of the craziest, best looking, highly differentiated and developed products out there. And it's all because they tell a better story. It's as simple as that. So ask yourself this: what is the story behind your brand? How are you changing lives? How are you solving their problems? If you can communicate and market that message, that's how you're gonna get noticed in a crowded market. Number four is to know your numbers. At the end of the day, we're building a business to make a profit. We need cash flow in order to reinvest back into the business and get it to a point, hopefully, where we can sell it. And in order to do that, it all comes down to the numbers. This game in the e-commerce space is a balance of understanding how to build traffic to your listing, making sure that you have the best possible cost in order to actually make a margin and a profit. And you also need to understand the small metrics when it comes to how many people are clicking to your listing, how many people are converting. To be able to diagnose where your issue is what's going to allow you to move the needle forward. Now, numbers are going to be boring to you, but understanding each component is so important. And transparently, it is critical for you to survive in the Amazon space and the e-commerce space. What I've seen time and time again is that most sellers get fixated on top line revenue, how much you're making in terms of your product sales. They don't even keep in mind the operating expenses that it takes to get there, your cost of goods, your advertising costs, the fulfillment costs, and everything in between. What you are left with Your bottom line is what is most important because that is what's going to allow you to reinvest into your business. It's honestly sad that this is a common pitfall because it's so easy to understand, and all you need to do is have someone or yourself looking at your numbers on a monthly basis at the bare minimum, ideally even more so on a weekly basis. Number 5 is building the path to freedom. And this really comes down to your systems and your processes that you have in place so that your business can operate freely without you having to actually be in the business. When I first started out, I did everything all by myself. Well, also with my twin brother, Eric. But over time, you're gonna realize that you are gonna get burnt out if you start to take on too much. In other words, if you start doing all of these different core areas, especially the ones that you are doing for the sake of doing them, but aren't actually really good at them, in other words, they aren't your cup of tea, that is when you're gonna be burnt out, and what that will do in turn, quite literally collapsing your business. I think we all get into entrepreneurship to build balance, freedom, and sustainability in our lives. And when you start a business and you get so obsessed with the business, it's very easy to get caught up in mundane tasks, the day-to-day, because it's hard for you to let go of control, especially if it's your first business, it's your baby. But if you want to build something long-term, you need to make sure that you give up the control, you hire the right team and personnel, you have the right systems and processes that you built in the time that you're running the entire business so that you can work on top of the business as a true CEO. Be the brain of the business while you have the systems, processes, and the teams be your hands doing and operating the business on a day-to-day. And that way you can go take a 3-month vacation like I did last year. Number 7, speed wins. In the Amazon space, in the e-commerce space in general, the early bird doesn't just catch the worm, it dominates the entire market. You need to move fast, you need to test quickly, and you need to be able to make decisions in a timely manner. But one of the most important things when you're moving fast is you need to be okay with failing because success doesn't come easy. If success was easy, then everybody would be doing it. I have personally seen brands explode overnight because they adopted things fast. Whether that be hopping on a new trend, getting onto a new platform, testing out a feature that doesn't exist in the market because they identified the opportunity, they saw what it potentially can, and they were willing to fail should it not work. They were rewarded big. So ultimately, don't be afraid to break things. Launch products that may not be perfect the first round, but can be perfect over time. Test crazy ad ideas or content scripts. The lessons that you will learn from failing fast will be invaluable. Trust me when I say that. Number 8 is to focus on what works and to realistically double down on those specific things. Hopping on a trend early on and failing potentially or succeeding from that, like I said in the previous point, is huge. But when you find something that works, whether it be something that you've implemented or you're seeing within someone else's strategy, copy it. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. And when you do find something that works specifically for your brand, make sure you double down on that. As an example, TikTok is quite literally the e-com alpha of brands right now. Short form content that can go viral is driving a crazy amount of velocity for brands. But before that, it was Facebook ads. So what did people do? They took advantage of Facebook ads. And then they saw that TikTok content was going crazy. So they took advantage of TikTok content. Now, when all these new ways to sell or make money do come into the picture, I think it is very easy to get caught up in this shiny object syndrome. And I think it's important to dabble into it, but it's also very important to make sure that you know your roots. And if something is working for you already and entertaining something else to spread yourself a little bit more thin could work to your disadvantage, you need to be able to make that decision yourself. What I recommend is personally finding one thing that works, whether that be a channel or a specific strategy. Pour everything that you got into it until you are no longer able to squeeze anything more, and then enter 10. Now, my final lesson, number 9, move fast, like I said, but make sure that you're paying attention to all of the details, whether they're small or whether they're big. Because it's the small things that could make or break your business. Inventory management, review management, customer service, how efficient your workflow is, the small things that you don't really think about. Now, having scaled multiple brands, I made sure that we had a rock solid system in place for absolutely everything. And because of that, it made everything significantly smoother. I didn't ever overlook the small things. And I made sure that the team and the processes and the systems that I had in place also didn't negate or look over the small things. Now, I will say that this portion of the business is not glamorous. It's not sexy, and it's something that you will overlook. But if you can understand that as a fundamental and walk into your week looking over those small things, it could be the thing that really makes your business and not breaks it. Now, one of the biggest trends that you probably have been aware of, and if you aren't, then you're probably living underneath a rock, is the fact that you can leverage AI to make your jobs significantly easier. In fact, I have built a brand recently completely leveraging artificial intelligence, and we've embedded this directly into our process on how we build brands in 2024 and beyond. So if you want to know how I'm leveraging AI in my Amazon brands to succeed, then go ahead and click the video on screen.